Good morning and welcome to Happisburgh, Happisburgh, which by the way is how you pronounce it. It's spelled, it looks like it said Happisburgh, but I've been told on firm authority that it's Happisburgh and that you should call it nothing else. I'm on the coast and I'm filming an element of a sea story, or what is referred to as a sea story, which means that I'm paying lip service to, or joining two other stories on this episode that I'm filming. So the two other teams are shooting somewhere else, and this episode, or the sea story that I'm filming, will link the two in a sort of chronological, or more of a time scale. It's a helicopter as well. A hot air balloon and a helicopter. I'm here today to film a lighthouse, and the reason for the vlog is because, well, as a drone pilot there are many rules and preparation you have to go through before you even fly. Now, today has already been marred slightly with issues. There's always issues. Yesterday I was filming at a place in Bedfordshire called Rest Park. Huge manor, and it's set on hundreds if not thousands of acres of land, and really cool. And I was to go and film the various stately rooms inside that also. What happened though when I got there was I was told I wasn't allowed to fly, and my normal, obviously, I was quite disappointed when I go somewhere new and I don't get to fly, because I feel the drone adds a certain perspective to any style of filming, and I really think it requires it. However, there was no reason as to why, and it's Heritage England own or look after the building, and they just said no, and that was it. Which is a shame. Because as a commercial drone pilot, I abide by these rules and laws in order to get the best and maximise everything out of it, so nobody gets hurt, nobody gets injured, nothing gets damaged. However, I feel that hobbyist drone pilots, not all of them, there's some good guys out there who fly just for hobby and they just do landscape photography, and they'll go and knock on a door and they'll speak to people and win the hearts and minds to get the drone in the air. And then there are others who don't, who just go fly, do what they want, because they think they can. So as a result of that, it stops commercial pilots getting to do what they're getting paid to do, and I feel bad about it, because I'm shooting for a TV show that's going out, and it's about British homes and various styles of homes through the ages. And this house I was shooting yesterday was gorgeous. It was massive. It was on this huge acreage of land. The house was completely symmetrical, and I mean, check this out. So I would really love to have filmed outside. Obviously I filmed the facade front and back with my other cameras, but I just couldn't do it from the air. So today's a new day and I'm at this new location. Now, we have been given permission to fly the drone around this lighthouse, which is cool because it's a lighthouse. Anyway, in timely fashion, what I didn't realise was that this is private land, and the lighthouse and cottage are surrounded by a wall in the middle of a field. It seems to be a favourite of dog walkers, and they walk around. So great care is going to have to be taken, even though there is a sign saying no unauthorised access and it's private land and keep off the grass, strictly no dogs, yet there are still people. So this is what I'm saying. It's not the drone pilots that are the issue. It seems to be everybody else that's the issue. I've got a landscape photographer over here. He's just set up in the middle of the field. He wants to take a shot, and this is my point. I have to jump through so many hoops in order to film, to get access to the land, to notify people, air navigation orders, the notice to airmen that we have, check maps, speak to people, and then everybody else just rocks up and does what they want. But obviously, over built up areas. That's why I was saying there's an air balloon over there, but it's a good 10 miles away. There was a chopper just flew in off the sea, but then it was flying way above my hard line of 120 metres or 400 feet. So I'm not really overly worried about it. And besides, what I'm here to do does not bring in to danger anything around me, because I'm only going to be flying to the height of this lighthouse, which is, if I understand it, it's only 30 metres. It's nothing. And then I'm going to be doing some low-level ground shots with the camera tilted up to get that kind of grandeur, and I'll do a couple of flybys as well, but nothing more than the height of the lighthouse. I might go a little bit higher just to show, because I'm right in amongst fields and there's a sea over there as well. So there's a lot going on here today, so I need to go and do some filming, but I'll come back to you on this one. I've now got my camera balanced on a World War II pillbox that you saw in that B-roll. Quite an interesting contrast. Modern technology meets historical protection systems from the potential invading forces of the sea there. What I was saying earlier on about drone flying, and I'm going to make this particular episode about flying drones, is that you've seen the footage of Happisburgh Lighthouse. I'm on the Norfolk coast near Norwich, and the lighthouse is what I was filming here today. Now, it was to do with aerial permissions, and you can have a look at the CAA website and you can look at drone regulations, and anybody with a any common sense should be able to adhere to them very, very easily. Now, the great thing about being a commercial pilot is that when you're given permission to fly, that is basically your golden ticket. It means you can get the shot that you want. It means that you can do these close shots to properties and buildings, because that's your subject. That's what you're filming. I'll apologise in advance if the wind is playing havoc here. Like I was saying, if you get the permission to fly, you get a bit of a golden ticket to do the shot that you want. In this case, flying around the lighthouse, I was given permission to do that, and it took a full team of production staff in the office to speak to the owners, and in which case it's not owners, it's a trustee that owns this, or represents this at least, and it was the chairman that came down and let me in to do the filming. And because it's still a functioning lighthouse, there's certain things you still have to adhere to, but the understanding is that the filming that I'm doing is part of a bigger project, and the programme that goes out will feature this, and they do visits. People can come to this lighthouse and go inside and climb the stairs and look at the lamp and everything, and you can buy paraphernalia that goes with it, a little t-shirt, pencil and such like, and it all goes into the coffers that helps keep the place sustainably run, painted and looked after, and all the usual things. But the problem that I have was that the filming that I was supposed to be doing yesterday was totally vetoed because somebody didn't want... Well, it wasn't totally vetoed. I still shot inside and outside on other cameras, but the aerial permission was denied with no real reason as to why. Now, it's not my place to say why somebody should or should not allow someone to fly a drone, and but I feel that in the grand scheme of historical businesses or heritage sites that rely 100% on people coming to visit it and enjoy it, that they need to see it. And when a programme comes along, and I'm sure there are hundreds that come along and ask, oh, can we film at your place and do this and do that? When was exposure ever bad? Being offered an opportunity to have your site or property or whatever shown in a very professional and artistic and creative way, along with a really decent voiceover and all the rest of it, for especially a size of a manor or a house on an estate as big as it was, I feel they really lucked. There was just, it was a shame that they didn't allow it. But I can see why. This is what I said at the beginning. Drone pilots, hobbyist drone pilots, don't really help the matter here. I've flown in some great places this year. Places that you're not allowed to fly unless you get strict permission, either from air traffic control, the councils, or indeed the owners. I flew at Hibernian Football Stadium in Edinburgh, which again is just such a busy airspace and thing to do, but you get permission to fly in there by the owners. Good. I got to fly at Sandhurst, the military academy, which is literally unheard of. Flying a drone over it, especially when there was live fire exercise, there was all these things going on. But basically, a professional has taken the opinion of another professional. A sergeant major said, I am a sergeant major in the army. I train these people. You're a professional drone pilot. Let's sit down and discuss what we can and cannot do. Excellent. That's all you need. You just need open discussions, and you can do it. So it's not that it can't be done. You just kind of have to follow a few rules. Now, that being said, a hobbyist drone pilot could just go and fly. Go on a public place where there's, put the drone up in the air and fly it. Theoretically, you're not breaking any laws because you're flying your drone, and as long as you're not doing anything silly with it, you're just doing it. The problem arises if something's to go wrong. If you were flying over, say, something like Sandhurst, and the drone lost control, or for whatever reason fell out of the sky and landed in the base, hit somebody, injured somebody, all of those things, that's when you become, applicable to the law. because it might have stepped outside the realms of flying a drone, but then you've just used something to injure somebody else or damage the property. So the full extent of the law will be used then against you. So you have to think ahead about what your actions are going to really achieve. Okay, you might really get that nice photograph or whatever, but what if it all goes wrong? If you're somebody who just wants to fly for the sake of flying, please go and do it somewhere else, in an empty field somewhere, because you'll get the want to fly there, that feeling of flying something in the air. You'll get that. If you're somebody who wants to utilise it for a photography tool, fine. But please, think about what you're doing before you do it. You know, if you're in a forestly woodland area and there's nobody else around you, and the only person that's really going to come under any sort of duress is yourself, or indeed the drone, yeah, that's fine. But if it's a place like this, although it's an open field, I've been given permission to fly here. This is a farmer's field at the end of the day, and this is also property that belongs to somebody, and a trust own this lighthouse. So they want to see my liability insurance, they want to see my insurances for my drones, they also want to see my license to make sure that I am a licensed pilot. They, obviously a production company is speaking on my behalf, they've hired me. If you're wanting to fly, and you want to fly something else next to something and you're not a commercial pilot, go and ask. Just ask. Hearts and minds always wins. Because if you go and bang on a door of somebody and just say, excuse me, I'd really love to take a photograph of this lighthouse and the two houses, but obviously I would like to do it within the confines of the drone code, which is to keep 50 metres away from the property. To shoot that on a 24mm lens at 50 metres, man, you'll get the shot you want. You totally get the shot that you want. You just have to think about it. And you plan the shoot, and then you shoot the plan. And it's as simple as that. But anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you from this lovely neck of the woods, Happisburgh, because I've got to move on now. I'm headed to York. But I really wanted to just kind of throw that kind of drone chat in there, because I felt that it needed discussed, especially after yesterday not being able to fly. But I suppose it will be shown in the reflection of the programme. One thing seeing inside the house, but if you don't get to see where it's set, you kind of lose a bit of dynamic about it. Anyway, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay along for the journey. They're visiting loads of places, filming loads of places, and I might be able to throw some information your way in regards to filming and indeed drones. And I hope you enjoy it. Speak soon.